join me? Oh, hi, this is so incredible. Hello. My name is Ashlee, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're just going to have a chill discussion about the Florida primaries and everything that happened. But before we get into it, please like and subscribe and turn on post notifications and comment what you think below. I'm worried this light is going to start flickering. That's why it hasn't been on, because I need to get a new light bulb. There it goes. Okay, we're turning it off. It's been a day. Sorry to put my personal news in here, but it's just been a day, and there's another part of my life where a lot of changes are happening and I have no control over them. So I'm just a little anxious today, and so that's why we're just gonna have a chill discussion. But yeah, so let's get into it. So the Florida primaries happened last night, and Oliver Larkin, of course, I talked about him on Monday. He was one of the candidates that, most progressives were looking at, were paying attention to. And I will say that I was skeptical he was gonna win because I know Florida is hard. Okay, I am very familiar with Florida. Most of my family lives there, and so that is definitely a difficult state to win in as a Democrat and also a DSA member. But something surprising happened, which was that Angie Nixon won her primary, which is incredible. And I am so excited for her, and I really wanted to have a discussion about her run and then comparing that to Cori Bush's run in a way, because I think her run was so unique and it was kind of similar to Cori Bush's, but she ended up winning. And Francesca Hong, she was outraised. I think it was 16-1. She was outspent 6-1. And so she definitely did not have she did not have that corporate money behind her. She will tell you she's not going to take corporate money. She doesn't take corporate money. She's incredible. I've been watching interviews with her all day, and she is incredible, and she is great at interviews. And something that's really cool to watch lately is just people who are incredible interviewers that are going on Fox News, are going to more conservative Democrat outlets, and they're not changing their opinion. Their integrity is still there. Their foundation is still there. And they're just yeah, no, this is why I support this. This is why I support universal childcare and stuff like that. And so it's awesome to see, really. It's really cool, because I think something that maybe the past progressives have done is I don't think they're as blunt or as bold with their stances a lot of the time. And I think that they play down what they really think or what they really want in order to gain trust or to be accepted within the political class in DC. And what I really like about the new crop of people that are coming up and that are, that are going to be running in the general is that they're just no, I'm gonna tell you how it is. And sure, they'll word things differently. I was just watching a interview with Angie Nixon and Morning Joe, and she's I'm not for abolishing prisons, but I'm for abolishing for-profit prisons. And then she goes on about how, she doesn't say this, but she essentially says, it's kind of legalized slavery, of course, she didn't say it in those terms, but she explained it. And I think that is really important, because more people need to realize that there are for-profit prisons. They have quotas. That they have to meet. And so it's not based on who's doing crimes or what the crime is or blah, blah, blah. It's based on their quota, and they need to hit their quota. And so that's what is so dystopian and disturbing about our system. I think that they are still they're still being very bold, and I really appreciate that, because I think that is something that has been somewhat missing within the like progressive or left sphere is actually being able to go on a corporate news outlet and be like, no, you're wrong. Like, this is wrong. I think that's really important. And I think that it's helping get the message out and get those progressive values out and show that what we want, what people in the DSA want, what progressives want, what leftists want is not radical, right? Like, it's not a radical ideology. And so I think that that's hopefully what's happening. That's hopefully what's happening. But going back to comparing her race to Cori Bush and Francesca Hong lost their primaries, right? And they lost because, well, I think because a lot of it is because there was mass amounts of money spent on commercials and on specifically commercials like trashing them and specifically commercials that were going after them and calling them radical and all this kind of stuff. And that's something that was very, very prevalent in St. Louis. Cori Bush, she had like maybe one commercial, but Wesley Bell was, it was insane. I like almost threw my phone once because I was like, I can't do this. And Francesca Hong had a similar situation. Like I said, I was in Wisconsin before the primary, and I was also inundated with Crowley ads. And so I think that that's what I gained from those primaries is like when you have an opponent that has tons of money, millions of dollars of money, and is using that to call you a radical all over the airwaves, well, that tends to work on people. It does. It sucks that it does, but it does. And in Francesca's case, it didn't work as well, thank goodness. But I do think that is something to learn from that, right? Because Francesca didn't have as many commercials either. But Angie Nixon also did not have any commercials really. And it's interesting because her opponent did, but it wasn't trashing her. It was more just like, oh, this is who I am, right? The reason I think this is an interesting point is because when Democrats run on like what they've done or who they are or whatever, people don't like them. Right? They have to run on that other person is a radical. That other person is not electable. That other person is blah, blah, blah. And that is the only way they can get elected. If they were to sit here and just run ads about themselves and what they've done, it doesn't really appeal to people, right? And so I think that's the lesson in this one is that when they're bashing your name, then yeah, it does work on people. But if they're just running on like themselves and what they've accomplished, doesn't really work on people. People don't really care. And I actually think that that's a promising message because that means that most people, even in Florida, don't really like the establishment Democrats, which I think we all know. But it's just like our policies, our ideologies are more favorable to more people. And the Democrats just have to consistently fight against us and go after us, sabotage us, try to push us out of the party for them to win, right? And her opponent apparently took his seat for granted, didn't think that she had a chance at all. And so he barely campaigned. He did the same thing Wesley Bell did. Like he didn't go to any events. He didn't debate her. He didn't do any of that. There were a lot of community events he didn't go to. He didn't really talk to his constituents. And I think the era of feeling like you are entitled to your seat and that people are just going to vote for you is over within the Democratic Party. I think that is important because I think it does show that DSA candidates, or not even DSA candidates, but like leftist candidates can win. What's hindering them is actually coming from the Democratic Party itself. So like the Senate, like Chuck Schumer in the Senate, they're saying they're endorsing Angie Nixon. They're saying they're endorsing Abdul Al-Sayed, but like with Abdul Al-Sayed, they're not really helping him. Like they've put out a couple commercials. And Chuck Schumer the other day said, oh, well, we don't really need Florida to win the Senate. And this is why, like, in my video on Monday, I was like, everyone's like, oh, we have to build a coalition with the centrists or with the Democrats, with the establishment. Like, and I agree, we have to run within the Democratic Party. But the whole point of like, oh, we have to form a coalition to fight against the fascists. Yeah, they're not joining the coalition. Like, I think we need to come to the terms that, like, they're not joining the coalition. They're not going to join the coalition. They are never going to join a coalition with us. There might be some people in the establishment that do. They are fighting against leftists and progressives more than they are fighting against Trump, more than they are fighting against Republicans. And it's sad, and it's honestly pathetic. Hakeem Jeffries came out the other day and was like, I'm not for the DSA. I'm not for this. I'm not for that. Basically just cutting everyone down. And, I think they're honestly, I think a couple years from now, a lot of them are in for a rude awakening, personally. And I think a lot of them are going to lose their seats. I do think that this is the final, like, death nail, and that they are trying really hard for it not to be, right? And I think they see the end coming for them, right? For the establishment Democrat, because that's just not what people want. One of the things that shows that Democrats are not going to stop fighting us, or never going to stop fighting us, is Jared Moskowitz. Jared Moskowitz, he won, right? He won against Oliver Larkin. And the first thing he did, everybody else who won always sends out like, oh, thank you so much for, electing me, da 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 da. No. The first thing Jared Moskowitz did was literally send a tweet saying, like, sorry to Hassan or something like that, or I feel bad for Hassan. What did he say? I forgot what he said. I'll put it up here. But he was like, oh, I feel sorry, Hassan. What? What? Like, dude, this is how entitled some of these Democrats are. This is how entitled they are. That, like, they feel no responsibility to their constituents. They operate like they have no accountability and never will. So insane. And then last little story, just because I thought it was funny. So Wesley Bell, I'm still on his email list. I have lots of emails, but I'm still on his email list. He sent an email basically that was like a form, and it was asking like what cause is more important to you? Like, what problem is more important to you? And I thought that was interesting because that's literally what we did. That's literally what the DSA did when we started, like, campaigning for Corey, is we went out and door knocked and asked people what their biggest issues were. That's literally what Zoran did. So I think it's interesting that is what Wesley Bell is doing right now. But I filled out 2 of them. One of them said, I put, because my issues, the issues I was worried about, we're not in that form. So I put other, and then in bold letters, I put, the genocide in Gaza. Oh, hi, are you gonna join me? Oh, hi, this is so incredible. This is Nala. She's who I always talk about. You're the cutest little girl. What you doing? What you doing? Well, I'm glad she made an appearance. I've been wanting her to make an appearance on this channel. Anyway, she's so funny. So the first one I did was the genocide in Gaza. And then the second one I filled out was, I said a congressperson or like a candidate or whatever that doesn't get crypto money. Because you got a lot of crypto money. But yeah, that's the video today. Sorry if it was a little boring or short or yeah. Like I said, I was just very anxious. And I waited to record this until, the results of last night. And yeah. So yeah, anyway, I hope you're having a good day. And I will see you in the next video. And I love you all very much. And bye.